Now, wailun lil mukaththibin or lil mutaffifin. Let's deal with the word taffafa. This is a very interesting word of the Arabic language. To make the long story short, there's lots of things that can be said about it, but two main ideas. They would, if you pour a bottle, like if somebody asks for juice or something and you're pouring, or you're filling up a bottle, like it's even better example, you're filling up a bottle with a faucet, right? And you're waiting till it goes to the top. And if it gets to the top and the part that spills over a little bit before you stop the faucet, that's actually called tifaf. Or when somebody's filling a bag of rice and they're filling it and filling it and filling it and filling it, and then some of it spills over. That's tifaf. Or I was with my kids at a pizza place today, and because Ramadan's coming, so might as well eat fat food. But anyway, so we're pouring some garlic, astaghfirullah, and the sprinkle has some grains on top. That's called tifaf, the stuff on top. Okay. Now the word mutaffif, taffafa means to take a little extra on the top, to have some extra, or to remove some extra from the top, just a little bit. And the idea of tatfif, because it taffafa, the fa'ala form for the Arabic students here, when you say things like qashara in the Arabic language, or qadda, or qarrada, these are words in which you don't enhance, but you also decrease. In other words, taffafa could mean to take a little extra, or to give a little extra. It's one of those two things, okay? To give a little extra, to take a little extra. Now, how does this work? It actually is, if I were to imagine an ancient store or ancient grocer who sells flour, who sells rice, and somebody gives him a bag, fill this rice for me. And he's going to charge by the bag, right? So when the bag fills up, he has this kind of knife-looking thing. It's flat, and he scrapes it off the top so he can close it, right? And now this knife thing, imagine if it's a little dipped. So when he scrapes it off the top, he doesn't just cut a straight line, he kind of takes some from the inside too. Just a little extra. So he was going to give 100%, but now he's giving 99%. He's saving himself, his merchandise, a little 1%, 0.5%, a little bit. The idea is you take from your customer just so little that they don't realize you stole. They don't realize it. That's tatfif. And then on the flip side, if you are the customer, you are haggling and haggling. Okay, fine. I know I just bought this from you. I just went and bought a pizza, but the pizza was a little cold. Throw me an extra slice. I want one for free. I want to talk to the manager. I want something more than what I paid for. I just want something more. I'm the annoying customer that always wants more than what I paid for. This is tatfif from the consumer's point of view. So there's two kinds of mutaffifin. And one of them is okay. You're haggling and you're trying to get the most you can and you want to get every penny's worth, fine. But now look at what Allah Azza wa Jalla is going to say about these people. These people who just take a little bit off top. Let's see what the first ayah is about. الَّذِينَ إِذَا اكْتَالُوا عَلَى النَّاسِ يَسْتَوْفُونَ. Those who when they take weight, meaning when they're purchasing something. And the word عَلَى النَّاسِ is interesting because عَلَى تُشِيرُ هُنَا إِلَى الْإِسْتِعْلَاء. That Allah is used that they're bullying the one they're buying from. This is talking about people that are buying, but as they are buying, they're taking advantage of the one that they're buying from. So you're not gonna, those of you that come from the Muslim world and have spent much time in Pakistan or Bangladesh or Malaysia or somewhere, maybe you're used to haggling prices. You're not gonna do that at Macy's. You're not gonna do that, in the mall, you're not gonna be haggling prices. But you see this poor guy selling like wooden toys outside the haram, and he's saying, khamsa riyal. And you're like, no, I'm going to pay you 2. And you just grab the thing and you're walking away. And say, oh no, khamsa. No. You don't need 5, you just need 2. And you just bully the seller. And there's both sides, right? This guy's sometimes they're trying to sell you something 10 times the price. And then they're saying, I have small children, But then sometimes it's on the other side. The guy's desperate. He's clearly not doing well. You should maybe even buy some extra from him. But no. You want to pinch pennies. Even though you make 100 grand a year and you shouldn't have to do this. But you do it anyway. This is iktalu ala nas. To bully people when you know the one that's selling is in a desperate situation. But let's expand this a little bit for our times. We're not just talking about ancient markets and people walking down the street and somebody peddling small toys to them. Today you have situations where there are farmers that have to sell their crop at subsidized prices. Or you have people that are manufacturing. and the buyer comes in and says, well, I can just get much cheaper from abroad or somewhere else, and now you're barely making anything because your customer is bullying you into just thinning your margins to barely you can't even survive, even below market rate. Right? And if you don't sell it to them at that price, they'll just go and get it from somewhere where they can get children's labor and there are no labor laws, and get it done in factories where there are corrupt governments, and they can get the same product done for half the price or a tenth of the price. What do they care? So long as they don't get caught legally, so long as the judge isn't after them or the tax man's not going to come after them, they can get their product from somewhere else. So using this kind of leverage to squeeze people when they're selling something to you, to reduce them bone dry. That's also tatfif as a consumer. And that's why the word ala here is actually used in the form of bullying. The ancient form of bullying also used to be that you have people like corrupt police officers or gangsters and things like that, and they'll just walk in and take whatever. They'll just take the chai and start drinking it and give you like nothing, almost nothing or nothing at all, and say, what are you going to do? Like they deserve it. The idea of, sellers being bullied by somebody is captured in الَّذِينَ إِذَا اكْتَالُوا عَلَى النَّاسِ. Then the word is يَسْتَوْفُونَ. They try and they want to get every last bit that they paid for, every little thing they want to collect. And they're really keen about that. There are some of you maybe not. I'm not a good consumer. I'm really not. If I buy something and it was defective, I think 1,000 times, am I going to go back and stand in the line for returns? But there are some people, mashallah, I mean, they've got the stamina to stand 5 hours in that line and haggle the thing and get a brand new one and get the manager to apologize and give them a gift certificate for life or something. Like there are some people like that. They really want to get what they paid for, and they'll fight tooth and nail. They'll stay on the line, 800 number, listening to hypnotic like elevator music, but they'll stay on it because they want to get their rights. But if that is the case, which is fine, الَّذِينَ إِذَا اكْتَالُوا عَلَى النَّاسِ يَسْتَوْفُونَ, fine. But then what about the other side? وَإِذَا كَالُوهُمْ أَوْ وَزَنُوهُمْ يُخْسِرُونَ. This is where the criticism actually comes in. If you want to be someone who wants everything they deserve, you want 100% as a customer, fine. If you're so interested in receiving as a customer, you should be equally committed to giving to your customer. You're giving also. Now this, so far it seems, even though I haven't gone into detail in ayah number 3, it might seem like this is only talking about people that buy and sell. But actually, كُلُّ نَفْسٍ بَائِعٌ نَفْسَهُ كُلُّ إِنسان. Every person sells himself. When you go to work, when you go in your job, if you have a 9 to 5 job, in those hours you sold your time to your employer. He bought it from you. He or she, that company, they bought your time. And that time you owe to them because they're paying you for that service. If you're sitting in that time and you're not doing the work that you're supposed to do, or you're skimming, or you're extending, there are some people who are hired contractors. And if you have a contract and it expires in 3 months, or they have a deadline you have to finish, you keep slowing down the work so they extend the contract, you get paid more. You're doing tatfif. You don't have to have a bag of rice and a weighing machine to do tatfif. You can just cheat people in service agreements. You can shortchange people in providing them the best advice, counseling, medical services, whatever else. This is a kind of tatfif also. Now Allah says, وَإِذَا كَالُوهُمْ أَوْ وَزَنُوهُمْ يُخْسِرُونَ. It's an amazing ayah. He says, and when they weigh for them, 2 words were used, kalu and wazanu. The difference between them is really interesting. The word iktiyal or kail is used for large quantities, and wazan was used also for weighing currency, because sometimes they don't know what the silver coin is worth, because they're not all minted exactly the same size as manual work, so they'd weigh it. And now they know what the silver is actually worth, or the gold coin is actually worth, okay? So, but of course, they're not going to have a huge weighing machine for the gold coin or silver coin. There's not going to be that many of them. But for the rice and the flour and the wheat and all of that, they're going to have larger devices. So for the larger things, it's scale. And for the smaller things, it's wazn. You can also say for the product, it's scale. And for the currency, it's wazn. So, because you take the product and you give the currency. So both of those things are being weighed. Now, on this, Allah Azza wa Jalla says, وَإِذَا كَالُوهُمْ أَوْ وَزَنُوهُمْ. The expected Arabic, the fuller version of this is إِذَا كَالُوا لَهُمْ أَوْ وَزَنُوا لَهُمْ. If they weigh for them, and or evaluate for them. But the word used, قَالُوهُمْ and وَزَنُوهُمْ, the lam is missing. And when the lam is missing, it's an interesting thing. It might even indicate that the buyer's rights have been taken away. Al-lamu lil-istihqaq, when somebody deserves something. So now by removing the lam, Allah is actually saying these are the people who don't give their customers what they deserve. That's one of the beauties of the word, the lam. Hey guys, you just watched a small clip of me explaining the Quran in depth as part of the Deeper Look series. Studying the Quran in depth can seem like a really intimidating thing that's only meant for scholars. Our job at Bayyinah is to make deeper study of the Quran accessible and easy for all of you. So take us up on that challenge. Join us for this study, the Deeper Look of the Quran, for this surah and many other surahs on BayyinahTV.com under the Deeper Look section.